Getting back with an ex is a frustrating process, often filled with unexpected twists and turns, and one of the most frustrating ones being when your ex starts to give you mixed signals, aka hot and cold behavior. So in this video, I will explain why your ex is hot and cold and how to overcome the whole thing, warm them up, and all that good stuff, so you can eventually get back together. But first, so we're all on the same page, let me give you some examples of how typical hot and cold behaviors even look like. Starting with our first example, your ex keeps consistently sending you text messages that indicate interest, but shortly after they stop responding. Or maybe they are insistent on making plans with you, but then they randomly decide to cancel them and start giving you excuses instead. Or perhaps they give you mind-numbing sex one night, but then the next day they become indifferent, aloof, and just maybe even cold. Or maybe they say how much they love you, how much they miss you, or how much they wanna just see you again one day. But then, let's say the next day or the next week, they start to ghost you, to ignore you, and all that horrible, really frustrating, annoying stuff. And finally, perhaps they are confident that they want to give your relationship another shot one moment, but then eventually they get confused and doubtful the next moment. Now I think you get the point by now. But why is your ex being hot and cold in the first place? Well, let's talk about it. So there's a lot of bullshit breakup experts spew about this topic, in my opinion. And they try, on average at least, breakup expert, coach, whatever you want to call us, they try to be way too clever about the whole thing and usually go on to explain some intricate, over-the-top theory, while the actual reasons your ex is hot and cold are just far more mundane and simple. I could even call them boring. So, no, your ex is not being hot and cold because they are seeking your validation, because they are asserting their decision to dump you or using you. Although that can happen if you keep enduring their mixed signals. Nor are they confused, bored, or are still processing the breakup, or maybe they're clueless about how to deal with their emotions. Now these theories, they usually don't really hold up to scrutiny. Now while to kind of flip the script, while your ex certainly could be just testing you, or hooking up with someone else on the side, or maybe they can sense a major disalignment in personal values and life goals, or they're just being plain toxic, most often, from what I've seen, and I've been doing this for like over 5 years now, helping people go through their breakups, an ex is being hot and cold because they are simply not attracted to the other person. Well, that is, not attracted enough, because this other person is, for whatever needy reason, turning them off. So maybe you're just being smothering and you're being controlling. Maybe you keep texting your ex too much and you keep chasing after them. Or perhaps you're bargaining with them for like another shot, seeking their validation, maybe even to a point where all of these behaviors are just really annoying and frustrating. But regardless of why your ex is being hot and cold, here's how I would go about overcoming the whole thing, warming them up and making it easier for both of you to eventually mend your relationship. So the first thing I would do is accept the hot and cold behaviors, the mixed signals, and all that. So the theory goes here that sometimes it's normal for your ex to give you mixed signals, and you should stop trying to force them back into your own life. I mean, if they can't see your worth, they're probably not the right person for you. So what I would do is stop obsessing over their behavior and just be grateful they are at least, or were at least, responding at some point, responding positively to you. Because many people, they get silence and rejection, and then, well, that's that. Also, when you accept that you've been given or are being given mixed signals, you have this really cool opportunity within this acceptance that you can leverage. And this opportunity is that you can get much better at acknowledging your feelings, your urges, maybe another better way to put it, and then not responding to them immediately or responding to them in ways that you know for sure will lead to positive outcomes instead of negative ones. So basically, accepting the hot and cold behavior from your ex, acknowledging it, learning to manage your response to it, it's basically emotional management 101. And the better you get at this skill, the more attractive you'll come across to not just your ex, but everyone. So it's a very important skill to develop. But anyhow, kind of piggybacking on this last piece of advice, I would also stop chasing your ex if you are currently trying to chase them so you can eventually win them back through some sort of contact. So maybe you're texting them every day or every week, maybe you're calling them all the time, maybe you're driving to their place all the time and like spying on them, or literally putting yourself into their orbit and then pretend like, oh, I stumbled upon you, I didn't know you were gonna be here at this venue, when in reality you did know, right? Stuff like this, it will only make your ex colder. It also reveals your neediness and weakens your self-worth, because while you do these needy behaviors, you constantly reinforce to yourself that, hey, I have to keep proving myself to this person that I am worthy of their time. And so you subconsciously program yourself through these behaviors that you're not fundamentally worthy of their time. I mean, that's why you're overcompensating through chasing. So, okay, the alternative, mine would be only reach out if necessary to your ex. Like, for example, when you have to deal with logistics, so pets, kids, some work arrangements, maybe you live together and you have to tackle some of those logistical issues as well, stuff like that. And if you're struggling with this, I really suggest trying out what's called the no contact rule and a social media detox. Just browse through my YouTube channel. I have videos on both of these two things somewhere in the library. But anyway, the third piece of advice I'd like to give you for overcoming mixed signals is simply investing in yourself. So instead of focusing on your ex and how you can get them back as soon as possible, I want you to work on yourself. I want you to take that energy and redirect it in yourself and obsessing about making yourself better. This means taking care of your health. This means overcoming your neediness. This means learning to manage your emotions better. This would even mean doubling down at some points in your career or going out and dating other people. And this could also mean, of course, getting therapy and getting some sort of professional help, which I recommend wholeheartedly everyone who's going for a breakup should do. You pretty much get the point. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. The more you focus on improving yourself, the more you will paradoxically demonstrate to your ex that you are someone worthy or someone valuable, someone who, if they get back into a relationship with, it can be a really cool relationship, because it's not like you're getting two unsatisfied individuals together and then making, an unsatisfied relationship. You're getting, hopefully, ideally, two satisfied individuals together, and then they can share that satisfaction with each other, and that's just a recipe for a healthy, fun, great relationship. Okay, now for the more practical piece of advice number 4, I want you to polarize your ex when they reach out. Now this means that when they reach out, when they contact you in some shape, way, or form, and be sure this is a direct reach out tied to something personal, like when your ex asks you how you are, I want you to, when that happens, invite them out on a date. Do it as soon as possible in the conversation. Usually it's best if it's like very early on, but just don't forget to make this transition from conversation to a date invite natural and human. In other words, it shouldn't feel robotic or scripted. And this is essentially how you polarize your ex. Basically, you get them to decide whether they still have enough attraction for you to go on a date or simply not. and it's how you escape limbo land, constantly doubting whether they want you back or not. Okay, so time for my last piece of advice: stop trying to get back with your ex. Okay, so I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but just let me explain. Your ex's hot and cold behaviors are likely a direct result of your obsession with getting them back. So try letting your ex go and try to make space in your life for someone who's actually 100% willing and able to build a healthy, real relationship with you. Now, ironically, such a mindset shift will reduce your neediness, will boost your confidence, and it's gonna make you way more attractive and magnetic and enticing to your ex by demonstrating that you are not desperate and that you have options, or at least the potential for options, and that you just have things in your life that are going on besides just trying to save a relationship. So if you like this video, be sure to download my reattraction cheat sheet if you want more tips on getting back with an ex, if you want to learn about my entire process for mending a relationship. The link to this cheat sheet, completely free, is in the link in the description below this video. And with that being said, thanks for watching and take care.